How to build self-discipline, resist temptations, and reach your long-term goals. How to develop self-discipline, resist temptations, and reach your long-term goals. If you want to make positive changes in your life and achieve your long-term goals, I can't think of a better way to do it than to learn how to become more self-disciplined. Science has figured out a lot of interesting aspects of self-discipline and willpower, but most of this knowledge is buried deep inside long and boring scientific papers. If you'd like to benefit from these studies without actually reading them, this book is for you. I've done the job for you and researched the most useful and viable scientific findings that will help you improve your self-discipline. Here are just a couple things you will learn from the book. What a bank robber with lemon juice on his face can teach you about self-control. The story will make you laugh out loud, but its implications will make you think twice about your ability to control your urges. How $50 chocolate bars can motivate you to keep going when faced with an overwhelming temptation to give in. Why President Obama wears only gray and blue suits and what it has to do with self-control. It's also a possible reason why the poor stay poor. Why the popular way of visualization can actually prevent you from reaching your goals and destroy your self-control, and what to do instead. What dopamine is and why it's crucial to understand its role to break your bad habits and form good ones. 5. Practical ways to train your self-discipline. Discover some of the most important techniques to increase your self-control and become better at resisting instant gratification. Why the status quo bias will threaten your goals and what to do to reduce its effect on your resolutions. Why extreme diets help people achieve long-term results and how to apply these findings in your own life. Why and when indulging yourself can actually help you build your self-discipline. Yes, you can stuff yourself from time to time and still lose weight. Instead of sharing with you the detailed why, with confusing and boring descriptions of studies, I will share with you the how, advice that will change your life if you decide to follow it. You too can master the art of self-discipline and learn how to resist temptations. Your long-term goals are worth it. Scroll up and buy the book now. For more free resources, sign up for my self-improvement newsletter. Martin Meadows is the pen name of an author who has dedicated his life to personal growth. He constantly reinvents himself by making drastic changes in his life. Over the years, he has regularly fasted for over 40 hours, taught himself 2 foreign languages, lost over 30 pounds in 12 weeks, ran several businesses in various industries, took ice-cold showers and baths, lived on a small tropical island in a foreign country for several months, and wrote 400-page long novels worth of short stories in 1 month. Yet self-torture is not his passion. Martin likes to test his boundaries to discover how far his comfort zone goes. His findings, based both on his personal experience and scientific studies, help him improve his life. If you're interested in pushing your limits and learning how to become the best version of yourself, you'll love Martin's works. Okay, so I already read Grit, and after this I read Relaxation. And though all the advice is sound, I've lost a bit of respect for Martin Meadows through the process. This is a money grinder. Reading these 3 books, I felt there was very little new in each of them. And though all of it was interesting, it was not worth the extra cash. I felt thoroughly cheated when this book's description of meditation was repeated word for word in Relaxation. Wow, did I feel like a donkey munching shit? He ought to just write 1 book, and to make it easier for him, and you, dear reader, I'll recap all of his favorite points. Keystone habits are important because they can change other habits. Keystone habits include, but aren't limited to, meditation, exercising, eating healthier, cold therapy, sleeping more. He likes this thing called the 80-20 rule, which says that 20% of something is doing 80% of the action. Like if you're stressed, there's 1 or 2 things contributing to the major part of your stress. Forget my sarcasm. I kind of like this idea, though I don't think it always applies. Cut things to the bone. Are things necessary? If not, cut them out of your life. Have good slow morning routines, try fasting for more self-discipline and to test your limits. There. I think that's basically the most important stuff. In itself, I thought this book was fine, though very bare, but he should have written one book instead of a bunch of small ones. Would have been more helpful. For those who liked it, I propose reading The Willpower Instinct, as it is far superior and goes more into depth with the why and not just the how, though it also explores the how much more than these books. Seriously, give it a try. Meadows does not spend a lot of time going into the dry scientific studies that provide proof for a lot of the phenomena he describes. Instead, he uses lots of annotations and focuses on the how. He looks at why we are motivated by instant gratification and the status quo, and how we can be overwhelmed by decision fatigue. He offers good advice on how to be more mindful about making decisions and how visualizing and mediating on realistic, long-term goals and forming habits can achieve enduring results. Self-control and discipline was important to the ancient practitioners of Stoicism, just as it's important to many people today. There are countless Stoic quotes that focus on advice for controlling ourselves and our desires, because even the original philosophers of Stoicism, we human beings who were susceptible to the same shortcomings, passions, and distractions that we are today. It's one thing to know what is right and talk about it. It's another thing entirely to actually do what's right on a consistent basis. And it takes the kind of self-control that many people aren't disciplined enough to display. Studying Stoicism, and the examples of others who've experienced the same struggles, helps us find that discipline to do what's right in our lives. Because self-control is such a common theme in Stoicism, keep in mind that the quotes below only scratch the surface of lessons on self-discipline that you'll find from these philosophers. It's something you'll have to devote serious attention to if you want to change your frame of mind and exhibit more control over your attitude and choices. Stoic quotes on discipline and self-control from Marcus Aurelius. We should discipline ourselves in small things and from these progress to things of greater value. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave, to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate in the present and to mistrust the future. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When force of circumstance upsets your equanimity, lose no time in recovering your self-control, and do not remain out of tune longer than you can help. Habitual recurrence to the harmony will increase your mastery of it. Stoic quotes on discipline and self-control from Epictetus. Remember that you ought to behave in life as you would at a banquet. As something is being passed around, it comes to you. Stretch out your hand, take a portion of it politely. It passes on. Do not detain it, or it has not come to you yet. Do not project your desire to meet it, but wait until it comes in front of you. So act toward children, so toward a wife, so toward office, so toward wealth. No greater thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Stoic quotes on discipline and self-control from Seneca. The heart is great, which shows moderation in the midst of prosperity. Our life should observe a happy medium between the ways of a sage and the ways of the world at large. All men should admire it, but they should understand it also. Who does not admit that all the emotions flow, as it were, from a certain natural source? We are endowed by nature with an interest in our own well-being. But this very interest, when overindulged, becomes a vice. Nature has intermingled pleasure with necessary things, not in order that we should seek pleasure, but in order that the addition of pleasure may make the indispensable means of existence attractive to our eyes. Should it claim rights of its own, it is luxury. Let us therefore resist these faults when they are demanding entrance, because, as I have said, it is easier to deny them admittance than to make them depart. Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy, founded by Zeno of Citium in Athens in the early 3rd century BC. Its practice reminds us that the world is unpredictable and that life is fleeting. This philosophy teaches how to be strong in mind and to control one's emotions, but not to eliminate them altogether. According to Stoicism, the path to happiness is found in accepting the moment as it presents itself, by not allowing oneself to be controlled by the desire for pleasure or by the fear of pain. The Stoicism philosophy also talks about using one's mind to understand the world and to do one's part in nature's plan, working together and treating others fairly and justly. The following Stoic quotes shed light on Stoicism and teach about restraint, mindfulness, and humility. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. It does not matter what you bear, but how you bear it. Failure and deprivation are the best educators and purifiers. The ultimate power in life is to be completely self-reliant, completely yourself. When you master your mind, you master your thoughts, your habits, and your reactions. The man who fights for his ideals is the man who is alive. No human thing is of serious importance. All we need to do are these 3 little duties: to try hard, to be honest, and to help ourselves and others. Forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing: your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. There is only a finger's difference between a wise man and a fool. To be calm is the highest achievement of the self. To be calm is the highest achievement of the self. The true worth of a man is not to be found in man himself, but in the colors and textures that come alive in others. Good decisions are made with a calm and disciplined mind. The good man is the man who, no matter how morally unworthy he has been, is moving to become better. Having the fewest wants, I am nearest to the gods. Here is a collection of Zeno of Citium Stoicism quotes. Happiness is a good flow of life. Happiness is a good flow. Happiness is a good flow of life, of life. Fate is the endless chain of causation, whereby things are. The reason or formula by which the world goes on. All the good are friends of one another. Well-being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself. Marcus Aurelius lived in the 2nd century, in the years 121–180 AD. Aurelius became the emperor of the Roman Empire, which he ruled for nearly 2 decades, until his death in 180 AD. He was one of the most respected Roman emperors. Here are a few of his Stoicism quotes, for there is a single harmony. Just as the world forms a single body comprising all bodies, so fate forms a single purpose comprising all purposes. No one can keep you from living as your nature requires. Nothing can happen to you that is not required by nature. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. What injures the hive injures the bee. People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time, even when hard at work. Marcus Aurelius. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. Seneca Stoicism Quotes. A compilation of Seneca Stoicism quotes and wise words. Seneca the Younger, usually known as Seneca, was a Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman, and dramatist from the Silver Age of Latin literature. His full name was Lucius Annius Seneca. So it is inevitable that life will be not just very short but very miserable for those who acquire by great toil what they must keep by greater toil. It is the quality rather than the quantity that matters. You will find no one willing to share out his money. But to how many does each of us divide up his life? Seneca. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Seneca. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Seneca. But life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Seneca. Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company. Seneca. The man who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive. Seneca. But for me every omen is favorable, for I want it to be so. For whatever may come about, it is within my power to derive benefit from it. Epictetus. And even if you're not yet a Socrates, you ought to live like someone who does in fact wish to be a Socrates. Epictetus, in each action that you undertake, consider what comes before and what follows after, and only then proceed to the action itself. Epictetus, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. Epictetus, curb your desire. Don't set your heart on so many things and you will get what you need. Epictetus, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would have not mentioned these alone. Epictetus, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. Epictetus, I hope you enjoyed reading these Stoic quotes, and that they contributed to your understanding of human nature and how to improve it. Focus on what you can control. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on things within your control and letting go of what you can't control. Apply this by directing your energy towards actions and attitudes you can manage, like your thoughts, reactions, and behaviors. Practice voluntary discomfort. Train yourself to endure discomfort willingly. This could mean fasting occasionally, taking cold showers, or deliberately choosing a challenging task to build resilience and self-control. Mindfulness and self-awareness. Regularly reflect on your thoughts and emotions. This self-awareness helps you identify impulses or desires that may lead to impulsive actions. By recognizing these feelings, you can choose a disciplined response rather than reacting impulsively. Negative visualization. Visualize potential obstacles or challenges you might face. By mentally preparing for adversity, you build resilience and discipline to face difficulties without being thrown off course. Set realistic goals. Establish clear, achievable goals. Break them down into manageable steps, focusing on incremental progress. This approach allows you to maintain focus and discipline by consistently working towards your objectives. Practice delayed gratification. Train yourself to delay immediate pleasures for greater rewards in the future. This could involve setting aside short-term desires for long-term benefits, fostering discipline in your actions. Journaling. Maintain a journal to reflect on your actions, decisions, and progress. Use it to analyze your behaviors and thought patterns, allowing you to course correct and strengthen your discipline over time. Acceptance of discomfort. Embrace discomfort as a natural part of growth. Stoicism teaches us to accept challenges and difficulties as opportunities for learning and improvement, ultimately strengthening our discipline. Stoic principles as daily reminders. Use Stoic quotes or principles as affirmations to reinforce disciplined behavior. Reminding yourself of Stoic teachings can help maintain focus and determination. Regular practice. Consistency is key. Engage in these Stoic practices regularly to reinforce self-discipline. Like any skill, self-discipline improves with continuous effort and practice.